Next up, we are going to hear the alma mater. So, some of you know the alma mater, so please sing along. Sorry to have you up and down, but you can stand for the alma mater. Thank you. Thank you, boys and girls. Hey, honors course, band, excellent job. Well done. Very, very well done. I know we have a lot of special guests who were able to come out today. Boys and girls, our special guests are seated in chairs basically right across from you behind the flagpole. And although you may not know any of them, they kind of paved the way for Newville Elementary. They did a lot of great things while they were here, and then as they decided, all right, we're done, we're going to retire, new staff came on board, and the new staff are everyone that works here in the building now. So we were able to pick up right where they left off. They left us in a great spot. They left Newville in a great spot, ready to grow, have our students grow, have our building grow. So at this time, I think it would be great to give them a round of applause for what they did years and years ago. All right. So we have some special speakers that are going to speak this morning, and we're going to try to keep it moving because I know you're excited about the time capsule. There's just one thing I want you to think about. You guys probably know this, but you don't know it. Time is the most important thing that we can have in our lives right now. Now, I'm not talking about people or anything like that, but time is so important. And you guys know it because you want more recess time, you want time to play on your games at home, you don't want to have to do chores because you want free time. So I know you value time. So this morning, we thought it was important to take some time out of our day to dig up something that the people who came before us, thought was important to save so that we could see it later. They took time out of their day to take a picture of what the time of 2000 looked like. They buried it, and now we're going to take time to find out what's in there. So it is kind of cool when you really think about, hey, we're giving time or stealing time, looking at time from what someone did for us 25 years ago. Whoa. So with that being said, our first guest speaker is Mrs. Teeter. I think many of you know her. So I'm going to turn the mic over to her.
Hi, everybody. As a member of our Time Capsule Committee, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. And I'm very happy to see members of our retired administration, as well as several of my retired teacher friends, mostly my retired teacher friends. Everything looks a little different here, huh? I'd also like to thank Newville's current administration for supporting our activities today, and our district administration. So I'm here to talk to you about Newville then and Newville now. Probably because I'm the only teacher that was at Newville back then and still here today. That's what happens when you've taught in the same building at the same grade level for 32 years. Yes, ladies, 32 years. So let's talk about Newville Elementary 25 years ago. Back around that time, there were more elementary schools in Big Spring than there are today. Mount Rock was not around back then. It was the middle school. Around that same time, Mifflin, Centerville, and Jacksonville elementary schools were closing. And Oak Flat was probably around 5 or 6 years old. Newville was the school that the town kids came to, and that's not the case anymore. We get students from all over Big Spring now. Back then, Newville didn't look like it does today. It was one long building, and it had no air conditioning. Remember that? If you were upstairs and on the hot side of the building, you would roast. We had ceiling fans, but most of them didn't work. So the teachers would bring in the standing fans. We'd open up the windows and we'd turn the lights off so that we'd cool down. Our younger students would have three recesses a day, and our older kids had 2. One for the big kids, one for the little kids were the 2 playgrounds that we had. In the winter, students could bring in plastic roll-up sleds. If they dressed in boots, snow pants, winter coats, gloves, and hats, they were allowed to sled down the hill during recess. Now you can't even roll down the hill. Inside the classroom, there were just a few computers in the back of the room back then, and they were used for center time. There were chalkboards, not whiteboards, and definitely not smartboards. Teachers had plants in their rooms and class pets. Mrs. Widener, a 4th grade teacher, lost her pet snake in the building. Yeah, can't even talk about that one. I'm scared to death of snakes. Even our cubbies back then were different. They didn't have doors on them, just short wooden cubbies with hooks on the ends. There was no elevator. In fact, there was no 5th grade wing at all. That all came later. Students didn't get breakfast in the mornings. What? They had a homemade lunch, but not as many choices as they do today. Just one lunch, or you packed your lunch. Now we have several choices, but some of the items are prepackaged. Our cafeteria even looked different. It was old and painted in light aqua gray type of color. It had paintings all around it of various spots around Newville. The mill, the spring, I think a church, and I think a one-room schoolhouse, if I remember correctly. We did have a small stage in the cafeteria though. In the autumn, we'd have a fall fest, where students would hear fun fall stories, decorate pumpkins, drink apple juice, and stuff scarecrows. During December, we'd have a pancake breakfast with Santa, along with Santa's secret shop, where kids could shop for Christmas gifts for their families. In the cafeteria in the spring, the school would host an ice cream social. Ice cream social, yeah, I know, yum. where kids would do crafts and games and have something called a cakewalk, where they would earn free cakes. The cakewalk was kind of like a musical chairs kind of thing. Well, who am I kidding? I did the cakewalks too. I love cake. We did other fun things at Newville back then too. We'd have fun runs. That's kind of like our Shamrock Shuffle today. Students and staff would walk around the building and count their laps as part of the physical education program. We also had assemblies, just like we do today. The firehouse would come and share the fire equipment, and they'd teach us about fire safety. Officer Orvets would host bicycle safety assemblies. The East Coast Exotic Animal Rescue would bring exotic birds and other animals to school for assemblies. We'd also have reading challenges. Mr. Klaus, my very first principal, actually kissed a pig when the students met his reading challenge. Mr. Underkoffler, my second principal, dressed up as one of Big Spring High School's cheerleaders and cheered with the high school cheerleaders when the kids met his reading challenge. There was even a pie throwing contest. Classes went on field trips just like you do today. Third grade, my grade, went to the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. Today, we go to Zoo America and Chocolate World in Hershey. Fifth grade back then went to Washington, D.C. And second grade, well, they went a couple of different places. Lake Tobias, the Shrine Circus, or even Strawberry Square in Harrisburg. I can't remember everybody else's field trips. Sorry. When you spend so much time together, year after year, you become kind of a little family. Newville Elementary has always been that, family. A tradition we've started since I've been here has been to wave goodbye to all of the buses on the last day of school. We know students are excited to start their summer vacations, but did you know that teachers are excited too? One of the things I'll always remember on the last day of the school year, once the buses are gone, any teacher who is retiring and leaving Newville Elementary must dance on top of the wooden table that's just outside of the cafeteria. For 32 years now, I've watched members of my Newville family dance on that table when they retire. I know you've done it, ladies. Miss Sandra, you especially. It might break, hopefully not yet, not for a while. Retirees, just give me a few more years and I'll be dancing on that table. I've missed you all so much, and I love that you came back to join us today. Thank you for being here today, for being part of my Newville family, and for being part of the history of this school. If I'm still around in 25 years, I hope to come back and see all of the cool items that you're going to put in the 2050 time capsule next week. Newville Elementary has been my home away from home for many years. I just love this school, and I hope you all do too.
Boys and girls, our next guest speaker is Miss Weber, Miss Amanda Weber, and some of you may actually see her and be like, hey, I kind of feel like I recognize her. She works at Oak Flat right now, but the thing about her, she was actually a 5th grader here at Newville when they buried the time capsule. So we're going to give the mic over to Ms. Weber, and she can tell us a little bit about that.
I don't know what much more I can say other than what Mrs. Teeter already said. And actually, when Mrs. Yost contacted me if I would speak, I said, to be honest, I don't remember what we put in it. But she was very kind with helping me find some things that I could talk about. So Newville looks a lot different than what it did when I came here in 5th grade. One thing that I don't think was mentioned yet was that out those back doors where you guys go to your playground, there was a trailer out there that we had all of our music classes in. So we would have music and band rehearsals out in that trailer. The playgrounds were actually over on that side of the building, kind of two of them, but they were not where they are now. I know today I'm sporting the Oak Flat Field Day shirt, but I know you guys have either had field day or a field day is coming for you. In 5th grade, when I was here, we had field day down over the big hill. I don't know if that's where it still is, but that's where it happened whenever I was here in 5th grade. Some of my teachers are here today that I had. I actually had Mrs. Wolf for 2nd and 3rd grade. She was the 2nd grade teacher and then moved to 3rd grade, so I had her 2 years in a row. And then I had Mrs. Richter when I was here in 5th grade. So she led the way for part of this time capsule that we're going to dig up here in a little bit. If I were here 25 years ago, I would have been sitting over there for band. Mrs. Richter was, or not Mrs. Richter, Mrs. Baker was a very big part of my elementary career. And she was a wonderful music instructor. And you can still see her around the Shippensburg community with her involvement in all the band there. So things certainly look a little different, but the same maroon and gold that we bleed today is the same that it bled 25 years ago. So proud to be a Big Spring graduate, and proud to that I now am a Big Spring teacher and have come back to celebrate with all of you. Thank you.
Boys and girls, hey, fun fact. Many of you know I went to elementary school here. So I totally forgot that we used to sled down the hill until Mrs. Teeter said that. One thing I did remember, I thought I was the coolest kid because I had these things called moon boots. Yep. I was rocking those bad boys every day and hit below 32. So, but everything she said was cool, or true. All right, we're going to shift our attention over. We're going to try to dig this thing up. As you notice, the ground is a little loose. I didn't want to sweat too much today, but we're going to dig it up, and then I'll come back to the podium. We'll open it and see what's in there.
There's something in here.
Boys and girls, so I'm a little winded. There are a bunch of names on the outside of this, so I'm going to guess that, well, first of all, it says Newville Elementary School, 2025. So think about what they were doing. They were hopeful that someone would dig it up in 2025. Remember Miss Weber who just spoke? I see her name written here. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to try to get... Hey, how many people were thinking it was going to be this big? Really? Not me. Someone said, what does it smell like? I can't describe it. All right, I'm going to try to get as much out of here as I can. It looks like it's pretty packed, but we'll just check it out as we go. And boys and girls, by the way, like right now, we're not going to be able to look at every single thing in here. But you know, tonight at our Spotlight for Learning, every single thing is going to be spread out, so you'll really be able to get a good look at it. I know that you may have had parents, aunts and uncles that actually wrote or participated in putting stuff in here. And if they come tonight, they're actually going to be able to take whatever they wrote on with them to keep as a keepsake for themselves. All right, here we go. Whoa, first off is How is it everyone you guys knew it was from McDonald's? Come on. Okay. So it's a Beanie Baby. It's an anteater from McDonald's. Huh. Oh man, look here. So, let's see what these are. So here are a bundle of letters from Mrs. Brickner's 5th grade class. Huh. Whoa, look at that. So, yeah. So it looks like her class wrote individual letters, Millennium Time Capsule. The person's picture was up in the corner. So this girl drew a picture and she went down through, like, here's my address, here are my brothers and sisters, my favorite subject, my favorite book, and man, this girl has some really awesome printing. Woo! She is great. So it looks like every single person in Mrs. Brickner's class did that. They wrote something about themselves. They put their picture up in it, in the corner, and they drew a picture to go along with what they wrote. All right, that's pretty cool. Huh. Mrs. Hollenball's 4th grade class. Oh, looks like they did the same thing too. Wow, kids were, 25 years ago, kids were really neat printers. Huh. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to get a little tougher here at Newville. Interesting. Plus, great artists. Wow. Wow, that is that awesome. Yeah, maybe too many video games today. Yeah. This is, oh man, hold on. Mrs. Nye's 3rd grade class. Oh, that's actually Mrs. Teeter. Look at that.
Why was I just that?
Wow.
I wasn't married yet. I ain't young. I wasn't married. Now
All right, boys and girls. Oh, it looks like we have Mrs. Reed's kindergarten. So we have a kindergarten packet. Then we have a 2nd grade packet. Wow. Look at, some of these have just fallen apart. The paper clip, look at this paper clip. It's all rusty. You just bend it in half like nothing. So, Mrs. Clippinger's 2nd grade. Mrs. Rand's 1st grade. So let's see what else we got. Oh my! Here's a Valley Times newspaper from May 2000. I know I heard some of you say Valley Times. Yeah. So the Valley Times Star used to be, I mean not used to be, but it was a paper that was printed more frequently than it is today. And there were always school articles in here promoting all the different schools in the Big Spring School District. So this is pretty cool. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm not looking. I'm moving on. Here we go. This is. So you know how so in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade we had Genius Hour, and we had the Newville News, and occasionally you would get a Newville News video sent out, and we had reporters, and we did a lot with that. So here was kind of like the Newville News way back in 2000, but they called it a bark from the bulldog. Wow, that's pretty cool. So you will be able to check that out. Huh, interesting. Oh, here's some, oh. So they gave out ribbons at field day? What? So here's here's a field day ribbon. Here's another field day ribbon. Oh my, look, this is even Newville Elementary field day pin. That's pretty cool. That's a great question. There's another pin for field day. Oh my goodness. Well, we're getting ideas. We're getting ideas. All right, it looks like we got 3 more things. Oh man, this is called Paw Prints of the Millennium. It's the memory book from Newville Elementary, 1999 to 2000. That is, and you know what? It looks like we are still doing something that they had been doing 25 years ago, where a student creates the artwork for the front of the memory book. That's pretty cool. Listen, everyone is going to be able to get this, or get to see a close-up of this stuff, to feel it, touch it, and smell it tonight at Spotlight. Oh, here's a pamphlet all about the Big Spring School District, and there's actually a Bulldog Pride button in the corner. That got a little rusty. 25 years in a container underground, yeah. And last but not least, this looks like, this is a timeline. This is a giant timeline through history of famous things that had happened all around the world. So that is pretty cool. Huh, very cool. This is, and it's from the Barking Bulldog Publishing Company. Huh, never even heard of that. I don't even think they exist. Wow, very cool. So boys and girls, I know you didn't actually see it up close yet, but there are some really cool stuff here, which, like, again, you'll get to see tonight. I really hope this gets your wheels turning about maybe giving your teacher a suggestion of something we could put back in the time capsule for next Tuesday. So when you come back after Memorial Day, we're going to have this filled up, and we're going to have a brand new hole, hopefully where there's not a lot of rocks, and we're going to bury it again. So in 25 years, if you're doing the math, 2050, someone else can dig it up. Pretty cool. Oh no, not me. So boys and girls, thank you for being a great audience. That kind of concludes what we're going to do today. Special guests, please hang around. I feel like you're going to want to see some of this stuff. Again, thank you for being great listeners. Our band and chorus, outstanding job once again. And thank you for being a great example for our guests. Thank you for being respectful. And I talked to a couple of kids this morning coming in. They just couldn't wait to see what was in it. So, this is pretty cool. Great stuff. So I think at this time, we're going to have, let's have our
guys, wave everybody.
boys and girls. And this time I think we're going to have, let's have fourth grade